I'm going to make a funny face.
Hello, this is Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I'm here with enthusiastic Clay, the man himself.
Hey, Jacob, what's going on? It's good to be here, man. I'm excited about this.
Clay told me he's at a coffee shop and he's stuck with our appointment. You know, he's a very adaptive person, and he was telling me that. Well, Clay, do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do? We're going to go into meditation. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do in regards to meditation and helping others?
I guess the whole story is for 25 plus years, I struggled to build businesses while working jobs, killing it with careers and that kind of thing. I was doing really good in my job, really good in my career path, did all kinds of interesting things. Mostly the whole time I was an adult trainer. Then, but of course, I was doing it for corporations. I did it for the U.S. Navy. We can go into that if we need to. Long story short, I have a very technical background. And then about 5 years ago, I hit that deer, and I read a couple books and realized the power of the brain. And I realized that even though I thought I knew what I was doing, and I thought I knew how to get it done, and I thought I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, I realized that I hadn't started at the foundation, and I had to restart everything. So now that's basically what I do is I help people get it done. I help people start with what I call enabling habits before they start leveling up into the high performance habits, and before you start talking about the 10 steps to make $1 million in Amazon or whatever. Before you dive into that world, the place to be is in these enabling habits. And then also, I know a lot of people, and I've worked with a lot of people that have done those 10 steps and they've reached plateaus. And that's what I'm doing as well, is helping people get rid of those plateaus by removing their progression triggers. That's my focus nowadays, basically. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot. And I'm with you. I think the only part the part where I'm like, we gave us so much, Clay, progression triggers. Why don't you start there? Because that's like, there's plenty of tech stuff there for you. I love how you talked about the tech stuff. That, that was your main background is tech. And I have a similar story where, you know what? I was so into the science of fitness, pushing the body to the max, getting the PRs, just being all about the wins and the sexuality, like getting your body looking the best it can. And, I found I was at a point where I had the money in the bank, I had the body, I even had the girlfriend. And I hit like this point where it was like, why am I still not fulfilled? Why do I feel somewhat angry inside or empty a little bit? And that's when meditation started coming to the surface as like, you really got to look deeper.
Deep. I'm so with you. So that's one of the things. Okay, before we dive too deep, I'm so excited because there's so many. It's infinite. The methods, the approaches, the mindsets, it's infinite. As for every mind there's a different tool, right? So when I say progression triggers, is that what you want to focus on real quick?
Real quick. I think that
jump there.
There's so much there. There's so much juice there.
So I've figured out that everything basically comes down to, there's two sets of progression triggers. There's our shared human evolved progression triggers, these things that we all have in common. And then there's the personal progression triggers. And that's where it gets infinite. That's where it gets exciting because there's no consistency. There's some similarities, but everybody's got a different story. So the core progression triggers are the three basic questions. Is it going to kill me? Can I eat it? Can I have sex with it? Do I want to have sex with it? Those are the three basic human evolution, survival, progression triggers. And what do I mean by progression triggers? These are how your subconscious stops you. This is how your subconscious is going to, if you've got a goal, you're going to head toward that goal. Your subconscious, its job is to keep you here. How is it going to do that? It's going to do that by using those three core questions, core belief, core evolved progression triggers.
We may have seen it earlier in life by the question, and this is just coming right from the mind. I mean, people are more afraid to lose than they are to gain, kind of thing, like that.
That is, you know what? That's an interesting topic right there. So look at the questions. Question number one, is it going to kill me or hurt me really bad? Question number two, can I eat it or is it going to benefit me really greatly? Question number three, can I have sex with it or do I want to reproduce with it? From a simple count standpoint, somewhere around 1 out of 3 or 33% or 66% of these are good. Do you want to eat it? Do you want to have sex with it? Those are what I call the Yahoo progression triggers, or the good distraction progression triggers. On the other hand, is it going to kill me is a negative one. Here's the scoop. Based on the way that we were evolved, if you go look at caveman days and start doing all the research, what you're going to find is, because of the fact that we're here, our ancestors, I can tell you a good cute little story about this, but the bottom line is, at birth, you and I, we all were at least 8 times more likely, hardwired 8 times more likely to fail to the uh-oh instead of the yippee, because of what you just said. Well, not because of what you just said, but that's why you said what you just said, is because we are hardwired. And I mean hardwired, like our synaptic connections, the way that our brain is wired together back there, we're more likely to go, uh-oh, I'm afraid of that, than yippee, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
That's a definite fact. So the stick is more motivating than the carrot.
Right. And a lot of that comes from the whole tribal mentality, the reptilian brain and all that.
Oh, that's totally where we're at. That's all I'm talking about right now. Right now, I'm talking about the amygdala.
And do you feel, since we're centering our conversation today on meditation, or one of our main centers in meditation, and you help people meditate, that's one of your main centers, and I think that's why we get along so well, is that, do you feel, Clay, that meditation would help override some of those triggers, those programs?
I have a controversial belief. I don't think that it ever gets overridden. I think that it helps us deal with it. It helps us be aware of it. It helps us think, not react.
Yes. The other day I was talking to a group of people, and I said, I actually enjoy awkward moments, because if you breathe into them, you'll find that the awkwardness sort of dissipates.
You just basically gave away everything. That's everything right there. That breath.
Yeah.
There's no question. Like, I can go, the technical world that I was in, I was a nuclear reactor operator, right? I was a nuclear reactor operator trainer. And the reason I keep going there, the reason I fall back on that and start talking about that when we go here, is because where we're about to go can be considered pretty woo-woo. But I'm coming from some deep technical understanding, and the research they're doing now, the proof that they've got in the brain, the way that they're able to measure and analyze the brain with fMRIs and things like that, it's not a question anymore. There are no questions. The answers are straightforward and simple. That those triggers that I'm talking about, the will it kill me, eat it, sex with it, those triggers that are constantly active, once they get activated, the antidote is that breath. Period. Like when we can do the experiment for a second if you want to.
Sure.
Everybody watching, I'm going to say something. I'm going to ask a question. You cannot be a human on the planet and not have a reaction to this question.
Let's do it.
You can't. Here's the question. Well, I'm not going to ask the question yet. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you're watching right now, take a nice deep breath and exhale and kind of center yourself, because I'm going to ask a question. And when I ask this question, chemicals will be released into your spinal column. It's going to drop those chemicals down into your body, and your body is going to react. I don't know how it's going to react. Everybody's different. But when it reacts, then your brain is going to sense that reaction. And that's when we start labeling it with our personal progression triggers. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So here we go. You ready?
Let's go.
Take a breath. What if your mom walked in the room right now? Now, some people might have gone, yippee, my mom is wonderful. Some people might have started crying because their mom just passed away. Some people might have had a really horrible relationship. Some people might have had a really great. The bottom line is you can't, even if you were adopted, even if you don't know who your mom is, you can't exist on this planet without having a mom issue. Or you're way, way in love with her or something. So the question is, when I said mom, what if your mom walked into the room? When I said mom, those chemicals got dropped. Did you feel it?
Yes.
What did you feel?
Well, I thought there was gonna be another part to the question, so I was like, what is she gonna do in the room, or like what am I doing something in the room? But I was like, oh, I'm just interviewing Clay. I'd be like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm shocked, Mom. What are you doing here?
Okay, what you just described, Jacob, was your personal progression triggers. These were, so the chemicals dropped, your body reacted, and you started thinking about what that physical sensation meant. The trick of meditation in my world, where I'm at, where I'm teaching people, is to get between those two things, to get between the labeling of what this feeling means and just identify the feeling. And that's the in my mind, in my world, where I'm focusing right now on helping entrepreneurs, business owners, technical people with a technical background that are trying to build a business. That's where I'm playing. I'm teaching those people basically how to identify and separate those two things. And that way they can choose what to think instead of just reacting. And that's the reaction I'm talking about. It's a perfect example. I'm glad you went there like that, man. It was perfect.
Thank you. And you know what? May I ask? I was reading Timothy Ferriss's book, Tribe of Mentors, and I know you're a fan of Ferriss. I know that you like his stuff a lot. My question is, one of the mentors there was talking about meditation, and she said, do your best to be conscious from head to toe. In other words, feel your entire body. Like right now, my toes are kind of firm because they're like, on the balls of the feet, and so that's part of my consciousness as much as. So right now, I feel really, really good. I feel very positive, very integrated. How do you feel?
How do I feel right now?
You're in a room. I mean, you're like around other people though.
I just got a little distracted. How do I feel, Jacob? The feeling that we're talking. Okay, how do I feel? I can feel things in my stomach that I normally don't feel because I'm just getting over that flu. My stomach is in a weird state. My throat is a little raspy. I can feel the burn as I breathe in the oxygen just a little bit. I mean, we can go deep. I can go.
No, man, I could tell, man. That's why I'm interviewing you, because it wasn't like, look, it's Saturday. I'm not on this because I think to myself, hey, I have time to blow. Let me interview anybody. I've been watching your memes. I've talked to you before. I know you're a legit dude, and I know you're about the meditation, and I am too, and that's why we're here. So I really honor you for like talking about the stomach thing and the flu thing, because you answered the question with integrity versus sort of giving me like a BS answer.
Oh, I still feel good. Don't get me wrong.
No, I know. But you went there. You went there. You went to the real.
So what that mentor or what that lady was talking about, Tara Birch, I think is who it was, probably.
I think so.
I haven't read that book yet. I haven't read Tribe of Mentors yet. I've got Tools of Titans, and it's like too much, man. But
yeah, it's a lot. I read a lot of it, man, and I'm just like break time.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, Tim Ferriss is so not a normal human. He's not. You cannot say, how am I like Tim Ferriss? Just no, abandon that question right now, right? So, but a lot of the work that I do, I'm finding that men especially, we are way out of touch with our bodies, way out of touch. So when we start talking about, when I ask that mom question, for example, most people immediately go to the same place you did. I would be surprised. I would be shocked. I would be sad. I would be hurt or something. Here's the question. when you said that, when you said it would be surprised, how did that feel before the surprise? You know what I'm saying? And that feeling, that physical sensation, it can be anywhere in the body. And it's funny, I've actually had a couple people tell me that they actually felt it outside their body.
I think shock comes from a place of fear, like, but not I don't know, like, again, it'd be like startled, because I mean, she doesn't live with me, so it'd be like there'd be
okay, before that, when I said mom, so now you're in your head and you're trying to think about it. I've got other examples of this we can talk about, and we can have fun with this. But the bottom line is, I used an imaginary situation when I asked a question. In the real world, the way this is really happening is we have 5 senses. One of those is hearing. So I said mom, so technically I used that one. But all 5 of those senses go through the switch before we know what's going on. Now I can break that down and we can go deep there. It'll take me about 20, 25 minutes to walk.
Is it the amygdala? The amygdala? Is it the amygdala?
The switch is the amygdala. The switch is the amygdala. And the long and the short of it is, and like I said, I can walk through a great example of this if you want to. It'll take about 15 or 20 minutes. But every one of your physical sensations, visual, taste, smell, hearing, touch, all of them go through the switch before we know what's going on. Example. Let me give you an example real quick.
Sure.
Have you ever been walking down the street and a car backfires, or a construction zone, something really loud drops, or something big and heavy, and you flinch when a really loud sound happens?
Sure.
It's proven now that you didn't flinch because of a loud sound happening. You flinched because your switch went to the extreme of protect yourself. And it thought because of the way that this stuff is all routed, like the physical routing of how a sound gets processed in your brain, it thought, duck, there's something loud coming, there's something wrong. Another example, how about a gnat? You ever been walking down the street and a gnat hit your eye? You didn't see it. It was too small to see, but all of a sudden you're blinking like crazy. That's a physical reaction because the switch went, there's something dangerous, there's something scaring me.
I'm with you 100%. Triggers. One of my mentors said, wherever there's a trigger, there's a wound. In other words, but he was talking a little bit, something of like along the same lines. You're talking about the ones that are already programmed into you right now. And I went into the ones that are psychologically because of trauma based, stuff like that.
So that's the 3 core ones, the evolved ones. And what you just went to was the personal, learned, or conditioned, or traumatized, right? But all of those connect to one of those 3. All of them do. They can't not. But so the stories that we tell. I was about to give you one more example of the trigger, though. You were talking about your girlfriend recently.
No. Okay. It's a past girlfriend. It's not
past girlfriend. Well, I'm just saying, like, think about the best sex you've ever had in your life. Think about that person. Right now, based on your face, Jacob, right now, I don't want to hear any gory details, but what happened? When you started thinking about that person, what physically happened? Immediately, your switch went to yes. And chemicals got dumped into your body. Your cheeks got a little red. You smiled. But before that happened, those chemicals hit your body. Where did you feel it?
I think I felt it because it's an old memory. I think I felt an elevation of like shyness and joy. I mean, that's what I'm labeling it. So whatever, because I'm like, oh my God, he just asked me this on an interview that's gonna be recorded, so now people can see my reaction. So there's a little bit of a shyness effect, like an embarrassment type, really. But I mean, I really appreciate. I love that we went vulnerable because.
So hang on a second. Shy and embarrassment are words that you're sticking on it. How did it feel? That's the question, man. Get deep into the body. That's
it felt
what,
like a lift. It felt like rising.
awesome. Where?
In the chest area.
In the chest. Okay, awesome. Because and there's no wrong answer here.
And in the head, in the prefrontal cortex area. Like
really? Okay. Cool. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they are talking about. Tim Ferriss, the mentors, meditation. The purpose of a meditation, 2 purposes. 1, awareness. 2, rewiring, programming, conditioning. But awareness is number 1. That's the place we got to start. Yeah.
I love it, man. I want to rewire myself. I've gotten into a lot of reprogramming. And I think when you say those words like reprogramming, it can be off-putting to some people because it's like, well, what are you, a robot? And ironically, I mean, we're not robots. It's just that our brain sort of does hardwire and get like the neurons that fire together, wire together. Like there is a type of wiring occurring in there. And so
totally
to reprogram it sounds funny because it takes a certain level of science and a level certain of attunement and like research to understand that there is a rewiring needed. So I don't know, what do you think about that? Do you think people accept the idea of reprogramming so readily?
Do people accept that idea? No.
No. We do. I mean, we do.
On average, right? We're talking no, most people don't. No. I mean, just flat out no. But I'm 100% with what you were saying, man. Neuroplasticity, the brain. Oh God, yes. Just rewire it. But yeah, no, the vast majority don't. Matter of fact, somewhere between 90 and 95% don't.
Do you think we're woo-woo crazy people? Do they think we lost our mind or something? Or what do they think?
I don't know. You know what? They're afraid. It's those same 3 triggers, right? Either they're getting laid really well because they're secure in their job, or they're fed, they're comfortable, and they're not afraid enough.
In other words, the shit hasn't hit the fan yet.
Or it may never. But yeah.
It may never, man. I love that you said it may never. That was great, dude.
Well, dude, there's 95% of us, it doesn't. Right?
Why are we the chosen ones? Why did the shit have to hit the fan with us?
Dude, you know what? We chose it, man. We never fit. We were never comfortable. I was never comfortable in my jobs. I was like I always knew there was something more. I knew there was something different. I knew, I don't know. I haven't gone there. That's a good question. I know, you know what? Like my thing is I help the 90% become the 10%. Like I literally, that's like my thing because
people like you and me, we could have played the game. We could have played it well. You know that, right?
We did.
That's what I'm saying. We like, I don't think people understand that. They think that we wear these funny little meditation beads. I think, and they don't understand, like, there's a lot of admittance by wearing these. I think there's a lot of like, I took the life jacket. It's almost like a life jacket.
I actually have gotten, like, I've had people ask me, like, what are those? Like, right? And they just don't know. They think I'm being stylish. The majority of people, I guarantee, think you're trying to pick up chicks. They think you're trying to be, you're just trying to be stylish. That's all.
And in reality, I think the person I was before I started meditating, or like before that change or that epoch, he would have hated, that part of me would have hated this meditation bead stuff because it seems too like not the edgy person that was driven by muscle and that kind of thing. Like now I feel like it's so soft. I feel like very soft wearing it, and I'm just, you know what I mean, like that alphaness, the alpha type.
I totally understand. I get it. And that brings us back to those personal triggers, the personal stories, the programming, right? That's why it's so important to do things like, I don't know, Bouchard's High Performance Academy or Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny or whatever. That's why all this personal development stuff is so important, is to keep questioning, to keep pushing yourself.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So we met through Bouchard's work, but Clay, what about your wins? What about your wins? Like, what has meditation brought to your life personally. Like you're Clay, you're enthusiastic Clay. Let's say you stop meditating. Let's say before meditation, and let's say after meditation. What have you? What? Why would you not quit? Let me ask you that. Why would you not quit? That's a good place to start.
You know, I haven't really actually thought about that question. I think I've asked that question a few times, and I haven't really thought about it. Or maybe it's just the way you just asked it hit me special. Thank you. That's interesting. For the last 2 years, roughly, a little less than 2 years now, for the last 5 years, I've been building this business. I've been unemployed for at least 4 or 5. I've bought an RV. I've lived in San Diego for a couple months. I've ridden some of the most popular motorcycle roads that you can point at and say, holy cow, look at that. I've ridden that road. I'm in a relationship now for 9 years with one of the most wonderful women that I've ever met. Actually, let's correct that real quick. She is obviously the most wonderful woman I've ever met.
Of course.
Right. Where my life is now and today, it couldn't be here without what I've learned and applied. I just
okay. That's plenty. I think that it shows the adaptation at work. You took the RV. I remember when you sold everything, you bought the RV. That was a big thing. And I remember about the motorcycle. I know you were in an accident and you were healing your leg or something like that last year.
Okay, yeah. I have had the last 2 winters have been particularly challenging for me. I hit a tree last winter on a snowboard. It was pretty harsh. That was not on the motorcycle. But yeah, I spend my summers and stuff like that traveling the RV now, and we spend our winters. The last 2 winters, this winter and last winter, we were in Salt Lake City. I'm in Salt Lake City right now. If anybody wants to shout out, we can get together, do a little meetup or something.
I have a challenging question for you.
Ooh.
Okay. I have a challenging question for you. You know, I have been meditating myself since 2014 or 2015. For sure, the last 2 years, pretty consistent. Like pretty consistent for 2 solid years. Okay, every day, et cetera, et cetera. And you know, on some of those days, I have so much fulfillment and so much joy, and I'm just like radiating and pouring out love. And I think I'm going through a test and a trial epoch of my life right now. And then I look at people like Grant Cardone, Anthony Robbins, Ray Dalio, people that are achieving great metrics. Like Grant Cardone just bought his next jet, his $50 million jet, and his post today was, you know what? Have goals so big, your problems pale in comparison. And I don't know what intrinsic or what inner levels of joy he experiences. So that's the frame. So the question is, what level of inner joy and like how many wins are you integrating and feeling right now, like in your life overall? Obviously, and do you feel like there's ups and downs? See that it's a challenging question. It was.
Well, let's dissect it. There will always be ups and downs. Right, period. I literally, just the other day, I went and had a nice little Mexican lunch with Tara, a nice burrito. We share it. We've gotten to anyway. And I thought I got food poisoning. Turns out I think it was the flu because it lasted like almost 36. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely some downs, right? And there's some ups. Wow, there was a lot in that question.
So the main the core question is,
what are my wins?
How you know, Burchard talks about integrating the wins.
Okay.
Do you feel that meditation is allowing you to integrate the wins? Because anyone can win the day. Anyone can win the day. You could be a janitor, you could be a brain surgeon, you could be a fruit salesman, and you can win your day. You can literally win your fucking day, right?
Every day. Yep.
Every day. So, and you could be at the top.
I understand.
You could be at the top and have a $50 million jet, but maybe still, and I love Cardone, by the way. This is not, I'm just saying, but maybe you're not even integrating those wins. Maybe you're not winning enough, even though everyone might think you're winning. Maybe there's not enough integration of those wins. Is that fair? Are we there now?
I think where you're going is self-love. You've got, so my habits, the habits that I help people with: meditation, journaling, and gratitude. I call them my habits. They're not my habits, right? Meditation, journaling, and gratitude. That is not something that I created. Those habits, though, I teach people how to use those habits to, one, be happy, be confident, be secure, be present with this. Celebrate that win. Every day, for example, write down 5 things that felt good today. Maybe some people, and everybody, this is the kind of tricky part, Jacob, for me, because those core things and the core progression triggers and the personal progression triggers are due to all the filters and all the experiences we've had in our lives. So how you implement meditation to be present is going to be different than how I implement meditation to not be present, but to integrate the wins. Let's use your words, integrate the wins. So I integrate the wins by sitting there, and I will inhale and exhale, and I'll do my chakras and line my chakras up and feel my energy in my body and stuff. And then I use guided meditations that prompt me with questions and remind me of different things that I'm happy about and I'm thankful for now. Not what I'm looking for, not what I would like to have and all that. What I'm happy about now.
Thank you, Clay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally get the answer. And the reason I wanted to interview yourself, Clay, was to have a more advanced conversation on meditation versus, like, if you're starting out month 1, month 2, month 3, you're going to have a different experience than 2 years, 4 years in. So that's why I'm interviewing with you, because you went into the chakra alignment, the questions to bring up experience in the past, to help calibrate the ambition versus the past and the present. So I'm with you. I'm with you, and that's why I wanted to interview. I knew you'd offer something solid like that, and I think
there's so much more. There's infinite. It's infinite.
Right.
Find what works. Find what works for you. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Yes.
No, you're fine. Champion Mindset is a book I'm reading. Championship Mindset. I don't know the title, but anyone that looks for Champion Mindset or Championship Mindset, it's an easy enough book to find. And I'm really loving it. And it goes into affirmations and using visualization. And so, when I wake up in the morning on my 1-page planner, which you and me both know about, right?
Yeah. Productivity planner, Brendan. Yep.
Yeah. And my theme for 2018, I think I saw you online for the 2018 course, right?
No, I actually wasn't there for Brendan's 2018. So that's one of the things is I don't do a whole lot of, I'm consuming less and producing more. I'm doing my best to do that.
Yes, I'm on that level with you. And that's what this interview is about, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. I love it. So gratitude is the word that I would tie up to what we were talking about before. Grateful for now. Now you're getting towards, where were you heading with the productivity planner? Go ahead.
Well, the productivity planner is that, in other words, integration. I feel I've spent a good amount of time, say, learning content, kind of like what we went through a somewhat of a parallel. I mean, we're different people with different lives. We went through somewhat of a parallel where I was consuming more. And I feel like you got to keep that blade sharp and stay in the coaching, and you got to sharpen it. Like, okay, where are we at? Sharpen it. It gets a little dull. Sharpen it, and then you keep the blade sharp. But then you got to again produce something like this, or go speak to people, put a writing out. Whereas what are you producing with your, like, if you're a coach, I'm a coach. In other words, I'm a fitness coach and leadership. You're what would you say is your expertise? Mine is leadership. Get it done. Get it done.
Removing plateaus and smoothing out plateaus, because we're all on it. We're all either progressing or we're on a plateau, period.
Or regressing.
Yes, that's possible. Yes. I'm probably not talking to many people that are regressing though, right? Matter of fact, I can't think of the time. They if I start talking to somebody that's in that mode, they run. If I find they just basically run.
Oh, you're saying
So-
regress. If you're saying if a person that's regressing meets you, they kind of get too intimidated, maybe.
I'm not going to say intimidated. I'm just going to say they don't like it. They're not comfortable because they're running. They're not from me, but from themselves. They're regressing.
Got it.
Anyway, we're all either progressing or we're plateaued. I help people make those plateaus as short as possible, smooth out those plateaus so you keep progressing.
I'm gonna bring it back to meditation and go into championship mindset for a little bit.
Yes.
And one of my key themes. So Brendan went into themes this year about 2018. So my 3 themes are love, dominating self mastery, like a theme of self mastery and dominance of self, and building a company. Those are my 3 themes. Okay. Now, going into the concept of building. Now, championship mindset book, it goes into how, visualize the level. So for me, I'm in network marketing. I've told you before, right? And
Yes.
so one of my goals, or the main goal, is to reach this very high level, like diamond. Now, the book goes into whenever you experience, maybe it's what you refer to as the poop, right? Maybe it's what you refer to as a poop. I call it the bag of shit, or the bag of shit comes up, and so we have similar kind of metaphors, I think. But in any case, so in other words, when that stuff comes up, or you start to feel those weird emotions, that weird consciousness, or that trauma, or whatever the triggers, whatever word you want to use, to visualize the diamond, visualize. He uses gold, but I'm using diamond because that's what. Visualize diamond. Visualize making $25,000 a month. Visualize making $40,000 a month. And now these right here, these elements of consciousness, right? The visualization, the owning the mind, like staying focused, like laser focused, right? For example, this gold pen is one of the levels I reached with network marketing, right? And I bought it to keep me in that zone. Now that said, it's that focus, just like a mantra. There's the mantra, like transcendental meditation has a mantra. Like just like you can bring the mind to focus on the mantra, you can now use that same muscle of focus and use a visualization. And it's no longer so much theory. It's not so much like, oh, well, that's nice. That's a cute little book. That's a cute little book named Championship Mindset. No, it's like, no, that's a technique. It's a strategy. It's going to help you achieve what you want. It's called visualization. Focus on what you want to achieve, visualize it, and when the stuff comes up, take it out of the way and replace it with, for me, it's diamond. For you, maybe a certain metric. So this is if someone said, Jacob, what's the biggest win? Meditation. I say, well, that's one of the key wins, is the ability to just bring the attention back to and just like it's like a muscle where you grip onto it like a tiger biting a steak. It's like, no, you're not going to go from here.
I love your metaphors, man. I'm just 100% with you. Like awareness, right? You increase your sensitivity, and then you doggedly stay focused on where you want to go. No question. The most important aspect of that, in my experience, is the feeling, the physical sensation.
Yeah, but focus is intense when you amp it up. It's an intense feeling, man.
I feel like you're saying focus is a feeling. You said focus is a feeling.
Well, when you're talking about, you went body. Like I feel like, in other words, I'm focused on this interview, right? And so this amount of focus isn't as much as focus, because it's happening with my senses, right? The visualization is there's a physical reality, but to visualize and focus on something imaginary, like a diamond leadership pin or something, and what it means, and it symbolizes, and driving that BMW and making $25,000-$40,000 and eating organic meat shipped to my house and helping my dad and mom, have a healthier lifestyle, and visualizing and harnessing there. And then, like in the world we live in, we have, a lot of temptation, right? That's mainly what we have to process. Is a lot of this temptation. It's like, well, no, that's not Simon. That's not Simon. So you start. So in other words, in that resistance of focusing, that can feel intense, because the world around you wants in. They want a piece of you. They want, hey, come on, eat this fries, eat this burger. Hey, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not diamond. That's not diamond. You know what I mean? like, and so it's very meditative, because in other words, it went from Hong Sa, or like Like, you start feeling that same transference into another aspect. Like, you leave the chair of meditation, but you're still in a process of meditating throughout the day. You're still freaking you're basically penetrating reality, and you're looking to like magnetize your reality into the matter, which is called reality. You know what I mean?
The words you used there at the very end were actually like scientific as to what's happening.
Yeah.
Like
I'd love
literally.
I'd love to hear your point on it, man. Really.
That's just it. They've proven it. I mean, we can go deep here, man. I can get geeky as all get out here. They've proved that, like, you go study the consciousness. What is consciousness and what is this world and all that good stuff? Physicists have proven that this place does not exist if you're not looking at it. Just period. It doesn't. This coffee shop that I'm sitting in Salt Lake City, it doesn't exist if I'm not here.
In other words, we're all holding together. We're all making sure that AC unit behind you stays there.
I'm not even familiar with the AC unit.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you get into the shared reality. And that's where the world, as you called it a few seconds ago, gets tricky. Because our shared reality is things like Facebook, things like, YouTube distracting us every 10 seconds with a pop-up or whatever. Yes, the distractions, the poop.
Tell me about the poop, because I had a thought. Because that's one of my favorite pieces of your memes. Believe it or not, it was very charming to see. Like, don't look at the poop, and it's like you're strolling through Facebook, and I know you, so it's like good one.
I love that because some people absolutely hate it. Like, more people, I don't know, I've got to figure it out. But some people are like, Clay, that's disgusting. That's gross. Get that off of there. But the point here's the question.
Hey man, where there's a reaction, there's a wound.
There you go. Here's and you brought it up, so let's go here. Let's go here a little bit. When I'm first off, there's the obvious, right? You just described it. I just described it. Another good example is, have you ever heard like in I can't remember, in North Dakota or freaking is it North Dakota? I think it's North Dakota or whatever, Wisconsin, all those snowy places where there's a lot of long straight roads and there's a bunch of phone poles and there's power poles or whatever, and it's slippery, icy roads. The majority of people that go off the road will hit a phone pole supposedly like straight on. Like, they'll be doing this and this and this as they're sliding around on the road. And then they're like, oh shit, there's a phone pole or whatever, right? And then they'll hit it just like, bam. It's because they're looking at it. Don't look at the poop. What's the poop in your life? Don't look at what you don't want. And we're saying a lot of don'ts and do nots here, right? Both of us have said that a lot. And that in itself is looking at the poop. Because we're saying don't look at the poop, we're acknowledging the poop is there. That's another reason some people don't like that imagery. It's because I use those words a lot. I've chosen to use those words a lot because the people that I resonate with, the people that resonate with me, are still in that frame set, that mindset. They're not thinking about what they want as much as you are. They're thinking more about what they don't want. So you got to say, stop looking at what you don't want and start looking at what you do want.
Yeah, and you have to, and that's out of the book, Championship Mindset, where there's many ways to cut this. There's many ways to skin the cat. This onion's been sliced in many ways. It's just when you start seeing it, all of the greats talk about this affirmations, and people, I think, aren't. I don't think we're collectively ready to understand that the subconscious mind, the things we tell ourselves, affirmations, meditation, as a collective whole, we think it's woohoo stuff. And it's like, dude, it's not. Like, that's why it affects your emotions when you start being negative to yourself. That's why it affects others when your emotions, like, it starts affecting your reality, the way you talk to yourself. It just
totally does. It totally does. I've done, like, I remember when I was 20, 21 or something like that. I was in nuclear field A school. I was an electronics technician in the Navy, and I was in this school, and we were learning all about electronics. Things like, and back then it was the early 90s, so way before all this stuff, right? But things like microprocessors, things like how current flows, like the technical details of what's really going on when a light turns on. Yeah, there you go. When a light turns on because the switch is closed, and the gory. We learned about antennas. I spent and part of my studying was I took a weekend and I had to drive home. I had to drive about 10, 12 hours or something like that to go home for a weekend one time during the school. And in that drive, I spent about 8 hours teaching my wife at the time how an antenna works. That's what we're talking about. Right now, your heart's pumping. Right now, your brain is thinking about some stuff. Right now, there are chemicals flowing up and down your spinal cord. There's electrical signals flowing everywhere. You and I are both antennas. We are affecting the world around us. You cannot not.
We're meeting next week.
I'm 100% with you. The more what you think about, what you look at, and what you program, it matters a lot.
I love it. I love it. Clay, we're running out of time here for our little bit. We have about maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I wanted to get into the subconscious mind. I've been studying the work of Carl Jung loosely, through the course of, 3 years, loosely, meaning I'm not some scholar of Carl Jung. I don't want to be. I don't try to be. In other words, I'm not a wannabe scholar of Carl Jung, is what I should say. I just respect the man and his work. And he was a lot about centering and finding that he always believed that there was a lot of center. He was like a lot about how there's a lot of themes that occur in dreams that sort of tell the truth about our consciousness. He has so many dominant contributions to psychology. The subconscious mind being one of his favorite domains.
And yeah, I like it too.
Ray Dalio recently came out in an interview with Gary Vaynerchuk, and he says that he loves to meditate 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, which is a really good practice. That's a very solid practice. It just is. It just is. It just is. And so that said, he said he likes to stop the conscious mind and tap into a subconscious, and then it just really allows him to be, get access to the subconscious mind. And that was his position. And so I just wanted to throw that at you, see whatever you had to say about that, whatever comes up through you, because I said that, all of that. And, just what's your experience with the subconscious mind?
It's literally what I've spent the last 5 years teaching people, how to master what's going on between the two. A few minutes ago, earlier in this conversation, we talked about how the outside world interacts with our brain. I did not go into the detail that I could have gone into, and we don't have time now. But where is your subconscious? It's in your head. If all that interacts through the switch first, there's no way the subconscious can't hit your switch before you know your switch has been hit. You cannot outthink your subconscious. You can't. So you have to learn to be aware. You have to you have to practice. You have to, like you were talking about building the muscle. You have to build the muscle. You have to practice the skill, and you have to get better and better at being aware of what's going on in here, because in here is where the subconscious interacts first.
Yes. And for example, I'm very happy that with the outcome of this interview so far, and I really, really am happy. Hopefully we'll do another one when the time's right and everything. Now, Clay, like for example, I spent a few minutes preparing these questions, and I fully believe that you and me were on some wavelength. Well, obviously, we had the technical wavelength, like the calendar and the time. But other than that, I think the subconscious mind knew what to ask. I think the subconscious mind knew, like, dude, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you, Adams. When it's time for the interview, here's the pen. Give me the paper. Here they are. Bam, 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 bam. Does that make some sense? And I didn't. We're not even getting through some of these questions. The mindset is there. You know, I want to talk about the subconscious mind, and I wanted to talk. We talked about Ray Dalio a little bit and how we talked about the subconscious, but the core element is there. We talked about triggers and some of the key things that people that we're working through. And so, like, I think the subconscious mind was very much a part of this interview. I mean, what's your thoughts of it?
I concur. Nothing. I got nothing else I can't add, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the interesting part. Here's the interesting part. I think that, let's say somebody watching that's a skeptic on the sidelines, they could be like, I don't think they understand what we're saying. I think because they're skeptics. In other words, I think they would say, bullshit. When in reality, like, me and you just agreed, and we didn't even talk about agreeing. Like we like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, how long did we talk before we started recording? How long was, I think, what, like
a minute, 5, maybe, not even.
Maybe a minute.
That's not, I'm 100% with you, man. Here's the thing. There's somebody that's the people that you're talking about aren't watching anymore. Let me, right? They're gone. Here's the scoop. Here's what it took for me. I had to hit a deer going 85 miles an hour on my motorcycle and not crash. I didn't crash. I should have died. I can tell you, again, we're out of time. I don't have time now. I know what happened. I can tell you all the gory details of what happened. I should have crashed. I probably should have died. Didn't. Then I was in the middle of a class with a great mentor. And then I made a man a promise. And I keep flopping these beads around.
What was the promise?
I made a man a promise that I would go around this loop 5 times a day for 7 days, saying the same thing over and over, focusing on feeling something. That, I think it was 5 days later, was when I started seeing the physical difference. Now I can go into the gory details if you want me to about what I was seeing and what I was experiencing, how I was testing this.
Please. We're almost out of time, so please, it's a great way to end.
So real quick, at the time, I was trying to sell my software as a service business to businesses. I was trying to sell the service. And I would always get to this one part in the call. I was listening to my recordings, and I would get to this one part in the call where I would get nervous. The funny thing is, it was way before the money part. Like, the money part was my issue. Everybody's got money issues. We're talking about the technical aspects. This is my mojo. I know what's up here. But I would get nervous and my voice would start quivering because my subconscious knew that we were going to the, okay, so what's that worth to you? Pay me part. And that's the part where I wasn't ready to take payment. That's the part where I would, 5 days later, 5 days of doing this meditation, it's called it anyway, 5 days later, I listened to my recordings and my voice was not quivering anymore. Now I have no.
That was like entering your flow state. You could say you were entering the flow state easier, maybe.
Ooh, be careful. you just open a can, man. That's a big. You can't open a can that big. You can't do that at that close to the end of an interview. You just did. Now we're definitely going to have another interview, all about the state of flow.
It's all about the state of flow, right?
Oh, okay. We'll have another. So anyway. So my point is those 3 things. So I had these 3 things happen to me. I waited. I suffered. I tried and strived and struggled for 25 years before I figured out, okay, I now understand meditation. And I had to go find more meditations and more practices that helped me. And I did. I meditate for about 45 to 65 minutes every morning.
How much?
Somewhere between 45 and 65.
Yes, that's a really good time. That's a very good time.
I have different sessions of that, different sections in there. But anyway, the point is, it took me a long time to figure out how to build my foundation. And anybody that's listening, here's the question. How long is it going to take for you to actually commit to building your foundation? Because you deserve it.
Clay, is there any website you want to invite people to go look into, a download, a free download, or anything like that? Maybe one of your videos?
If you go to enthusiasticclay.com, which you have the link, right?
It's enthusiastic and your name CLAY.com, right?
Right, but there's only one C in there.
Okay, it shares the C.
Yeah, it shares the C. It's enthusiastically misspelled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a download there. I have the 3 habits. I have a
By the way,
PDF.
I just need to tell you, Clay, that I'm really grateful that you lead with the joy and you lead with enthusiasm, and I hope that you always do, because it's one of those things that I think we live in that culture where everybody thinks it's so cool to be a skeptic, and everybody thinks it's so cool to be a dirtbag and an asshole all the time, or a jerk, and just be like negative Nelly. So I'm really grateful that you lead as a man in in this world where it's like so cool to be like kind of a jerk off. Like, does that make any sense? Like, I don't mean like everyone, but I'm saying you lead with enthusiasm, and I'm really grateful for that. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just go thank you there. Yeah. I'm really thankful. The thing that came up when you were saying that is I'm really thankful lately at my anytime I do go to Facebook or anytime I look at anything nowadays, there's nothing but just enthusiasm and positive and uplifting stuff coming at me. Because of the way I've curated my news feeds and curated.
Well, we both did that. We did that, but I'm saying like there is a lot of negative stuff out there. It's just about being your like no,
hey, Jacob,
not in my world.
Don't look at the poop, man. I don't even see it anymore, man. People say that to me. Like I had another.
I know. I don't. I'm saying no. I know it's there, but I don't look at it.
Really?
In 2017. In 2017, I didn't look at it, bro.
Where's it at? That's what I'm saying. Where's it at?
Now you're showboating.
No, I'm not, dude. Like, I literally just turned around. There's nothing but beautiful people in this coffee shop. I didn't see one ugly. I'm like, seriously.
Prime time, man. Prime time.
But yeah. But
before as we're closing off, may I ask you one final question? And this was I should have led with this, but I think we got to like. We shared the message. We shared the most important message, which is to meditate, build a foundation, get connected with yourself, get connected with your consciousness. You know, find your truth, build your foundations, and talk about enthusiasticclay.com. And so we hit the main point. You know, I don't know if you knew this, but I took my lessons through Self-Realization Fellowship Church, and that's how I started meditating with the teachings of Yogananda, and he's a guru, and it's taken a long time for me to adopt the concept of having a guru. What's your and I feel I don't mind anymore because I'm already so deep in to this process of having a guru and all these things that like people are going to judge, they're going to judge. But you know, what's your thoughts on the guru concept? Because meditation does come from a lot from India, and it comes from yoga a lot, and it comes from Buddhism and a lot of things. What's your thoughts on the religious aspect of meditation?
On the religious aspect? If you haven't read it, there's a book called Stealing Fire, where Stephen Kotler's talking about the state of flow again. And I know we opened this can of worms a little bit. And one of the ways to enter the state of flow is through a religious experience. They call it, this is what it's been believed to be, or a lot of labeling has happened over the centuries. Because in churches or religious cults or whatever, you go through these rituals. Well, these rituals were literally designed to put people into a state of flow.
Love it.
So
I mean, I think we could end it right here, man. And like, in other words, the reason we've loaded this interview with so many doors, bro.
Yeah,
if somebody does it, with Google nowadays, with the internet, with the YouTube links that are going to sure to pop up because of the recommendations, like we've opened up so many doors, bro, that if someone just walks through one of them, that's a rabbit hole, man. They're gone.
And you know what?
Like they're gone, bro.
If you are inspired to do that, do it. Dive through one of those doors. Definitely.
Yeah, they're all gonna lead to the same place. That's what I really believe. They're all gonna bring you right to the center.
Amen. All right back here.
Yeah, that's all.
Back here. Every door right here.
Man, bro, we're on it. Like, look, man, the fact that you ended it like that, I'm very grateful. That was a perfect way. As far as I'm concerned, you said it. Bring it all right back here. I'm fulfilled. This is a great interview. Would you like to say anything to the viewers before we close off?
Find out about, I want to promote a little bit of my stuff. Find out about me. Go check out enthusiastically.com. I run masterminds. I recently opened up a monthly membership where I will be meeting with people. So this isn't like a broadcast. This is like we have a meeting where I have a group. It's a group meeting, but we have a group meeting. We can all interact. So there's a couple different things going on. There's that monthly membership, and there's the Get It Done Mastermind starting February 2nd. Right now, I think for another 5 days or something like that, the discount price is active.
What's the discount? Do you want to? Can you share the discount price?
It's 3 months. It's normally $5,000 for this 3 months. And what we do is you learn about meditation, journaling, and gratitude. You learn about starting those habits, getting those habits founded, and then you ramp and adjust those habits to put yourself into a state of flow every day.
Okay.
So in 12 weeks, which if you read Stealing Fire, basically in the back of Stealing Fire, that's one of the ways is take about 3 months to develop the practice to manually put yourself into a state of flow every day. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. I'm really excited about that. So that's what the Get It Done Mastermind is about. It's $5,000 normally. Discount price is only $3,000. So we're getting people like lined up for that for February 2nd right now.
Thank you. Thank you, Clay. And what if they mention it? If they mention they saw you here, you give them an extra journal or something, right?
How about this? One of the bonuses is a one-on-one meeting with me. Instead of one, we'll do 3, which is 1 a month. And we'll do like one-on-one a month to make sure you're on track, to make sure you're getting it done.
Thank you so much, Clay. Thank you so much for your input. I can't wait to see what 2018 brings for both of us. Let's make it the best year ever. And I hope you get better I know you had a little bit of a flu, and I hope you get better. Thank you again, man. Thank you. I mean, meditations run so deep. That deep is jealous, man. Okay.
That deep is jealous. I like it.
All right.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it, brother. You have a good day, man.
All right, Clay.